So I have had a chance to drive this 2019 RAM Laramie 1500 with a Hemi for about a week now, and I wanted to give you all my final impressions of this truck. First of all, I absolutely love the ride in this truck. It is such a difference getting out of my F450, hopping in this truck, and just experiencing how smooth it is. Plus, my wife is no longer getting frustrated when we go over bumps, when we go over any type of imperfection in the road. This truck is buttery smooth. It handles every imperfection like a luxury car might. Now, there are some things that I definitely have to say are probably going to need to be worked out over the production life, at least hopefully before this truck goes on sale in mass quantities. First, this truck comes equipped with an 8-speed transmission, and I've found that in my lower gears, it has a hard time finding which gear it wants to stay in. My example of that is if I'm driving through, let's say, a parking lot, and I'm just accelerating very, very softly to go, in between aisles. The truck wants to move between second and third gear, and it's constantly trying to find that right gear to be in. I believe you're going to see more of those issues as the number of gears that come in these new transmissions keeps getting more and more. For instance, this truck has an 8-speed transmission. GM's going to have a 10-speed transmission. Ford has a 10-speed transmission. And it really improves fuel economy because it puts you in the right gear at the right RPM range most of the time. But in some scenarios, such as slow maneuvering, it might have more of an issue finding that perfect gear to be in because you might not be going the same speed very consistently. Now, the other issue I've had is with the Bluetooth system with the Uconnect. It is a good functioning system, but with 3 phones that I've tried it on, one an iPhone, one a Galaxy S9, and one an LG, the Bluetooth is constantly pausing itself and then starting to play again. Now, this isn't an issue that's just isolated to this truck. This is an issue that I think most Bluetooth systems have. I have that exact same experience occasionally in a Ford Fusion, as well as my F450, and even my wife's Lincoln Navigator, and also a Lexus. I believe that's just kind of something inherent to Bluetooth. Now, one thing I absolutely love about this truck, far and beyond that's better than my Ford, are the headlights. The output of these headlights at night are phenomenal. It casts the longest, widest beam of light I have seen on any vehicle aside from maybe a Lexus LS back in the day. These headlights are phenomenal. They're LED, they are incredibly bright, and I absolutely love them. They just illuminate the road so well. Another thing that I love about this truck, but at the same time could probably use a little tweaking, is they put this really great spot here for your phone. And you can see the little clamp area that you slide it down into right there. However, this cup holder area and this assembly, which slides forward and back, has a gap right there. So if you try to put your phone in there quickly and you miss that little spot, you're going to drop your phone down into the center console. And I showed that on a previous video, and since filming that video, I've probably dropped my phone down there at least half a dozen times. Not that big of a deal while you're parked, but in order to retrieve your phone, you're going to need to slide this back, grab your phone, place it back in the holder or wherever you plan on putting it. I think most people will probably opt to avoid putting it there and simply put it in the cup holder. Now, I absolutely love the size of this screen. 8.4 inch, it is beautifully vibrant, it has incredible contrast. However, it's very shiny, so it picks up all your fingerprints very, very well. You're probably going to want to keep a microfiber cloth in the truck just so you can clean the screen off occasionally and get those nasty fingerprints off of it. I love having a 12-volt outlet up here at the top. However, it's the only one. So I've been searching around this vehicle for a second 12-volt outlet, and I just can't find any. Not a big gripe, but I really like these 12-volt outlets, and I know most vehicles are going away from them and simply going with the USB outlet. However, 12-volt outlets are great, especially for those things that come pre-wired with a 12-volt connection at the end. Mainly because those put out 12 volts, whereas your typical USB plug, like these, are going to put out 5 volts. So you really can't adapt a USB outlet like this to a 12-volt connection, but you can go the other way. You can take a 12-volt plug like this, use an adapter, and go to USB. So I wish there were more 12-volt outlets in trucks. So in the normal seated position in my F450 Super Crew, I have 15 inches of rear seat legroom between the back of the driver's seat and the front cushion of the back seat, which is a pretty good amount of space. Now, same thing with the Ram. This is a half-ton, but the new HDs, the 2500, 3500 trucks, are going to have the same cab configuration. And to show you how much bigger this truck is than the previous generation, I have 15.5 inches of space between the back of the cushion and the front of the pillow here. Just a ton of room back here. Another thing I love is the fact that this truck has rear air conditioning vents, but they don't put out a lot of air. I basically shut all the front vents, had just the rear vents open, and they still put out the same amount of volume. So I imagine it's more of a plumbing issue inside of the system. And in reality, no matter how much you adjust the airflow, the air pretty much comes out in the same small volume. So I hope that they plan on improving the system back here to put out more air for your rear seat passengers. Now, I absolutely love the new center console design for the rear seat. So instead of just being a small flip down center area with cup holders, you pull this little lever right here, the whole center folds down. You have some really nice cup holders. You have the entire width of the middle seat for an armrest, and you even have a little storage area here in the center. Brilliant, brilliant use of a center console. Just really a great design. I think they nailed it there. And when you're done, and you're all done. And this truck also has a really nice feature of being able to slide your seats up using a lever right here, pulling out and reclining. Very, very well done in the design and execution of the back seat of this truck. Now, this truck on the sticker is actually optioned with full-length running boards, but for some reason when I got the truck, it didn't have any on it at all. I'm assuming at some point during reviews of this truck, they might have been damaged and removed, but yeah, this truck does not have any running boards on it. You know, one feature that I would probably disable on this truck is the Audible Alerts every time something happens. Like, for instance, when you're backing up and you're getting too close to an object, or your front parking sensors, or your blind spot detection. It's a very, very loud alert, and I know you can turn the volume down on those alerts, but it almost seems as if the truck is warning you of something all the time. Not that big of a deal for most people, and it's definitely something you can adjust the volume to or turn off altogether. But when it's on, which is the preferred method, I wish they had more of a softer tone or something that wouldn't be so startling, even though I guess the whole point of it is to alert you in the event that you're about to impact something. You know, I really like when half-ton trucks have more of a tow-style mirror. I know that you don't need them all the time, but it would be really nice to see that larger spot mirror underneath, and I really wish that they would just be included on pickup trucks. I think it makes sense. Even if the mirror housing is just slightly taller, basically make that bottom section a spot mirror. Definitely helps with visibility. Now, one thing I love about this Ram truck is just how quickly the system responds to touching the inside of the handle to unlock it. All you have to do is just touch it for a second and it unlocks. And then finally, and this is actually kind of one of those good things, bad things again, Ram still uses regular pulls like this to unlock the doors, which is really nice because a lot of vehicles are getting away from using these. Either you have to pull the handle twice, or it's just a light up here and it's just difficult to figure out how to unlock. Now, on this truck, you can still use this. However, it just takes a lot of force. So if your hands are sweaty, if they're slick, it could be very difficult to pull this up to unlock the back. Guys, all in all, I absolutely love this truck. I think it is the absolute best migration path for Ram. This half-ton truck is a wonderful vehicle to spend a lot of time in. The seats are incredibly comfortable. It has tons of power. It has plenty of space in the back. I really enjoyed driving this truck for the last week. This is probably one of the nicest pickup trucks I've ever had the opportunity to drive. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we will talk to you again soon.